What's up, Discmaniacs? Dana Vicich here. This is my In the Bag. So let's start with my putters. This year, I'm putting with the D-Line P2. I've been putting with this pair since, I'd say the middle of winter. These are a little bit soft, but not too soft. They're very broken in. I mainly putt with this one. This is the backup. I actually bought these from Eagle McMahon 2 or 3 years ago. They were his old throwers, so they were already seasoned. So these are very straight P2s. For my throwing putters, I'm throwing the P3x, and I'm carrying 2 different versions of that. First is the D-Line. It's really flat. It's kind of a stiffer D-Line plastic, but I can throw this disc really hard. It's low profile versus a P2 that's a little bit deeper. The P3x comes out of the hand really clean. But I use these for little forehands, and then also if I want to rip a putter and not worry about it going left or right. I've also got the Glow C-Line P3x. This is a little bit more overstable than the D-Line. Little touch shots in the woods. I can throw it hard and trust it in the wind. Let's move on to the mid-ranges. Right now I'm currently bagging 4 different MD3s. This particular MD3 right here was one of the first Discmania discs that I got when I signed on with Discmania. It's an old version of the Glow, slightly domey, very broken in, but still a very straight flyer with a little bit extra glide than any of the others. This is kind of a backup to that one. I got this dyed by Ben Tucker. It's another old school Glow MD3, sweet dye, fun to watch fly, and this one's used for really straight shots. Doesn't have a ton of stability, but just enough that I can trust it when I throw hard. I've got a color Glow MD3. It's pretty flat. It's very straight flying. I like to rip this disc flat and hard, and it'll fly straight. If I put a little bit of turn on it, it'll fly straight and almost finish right. But as it breaks in, it'll continue to break a little bit more to the right. The newest MD3 in my bag is the Metal Flake Glow C-Line MD3, also known as the Iron Samurai. I've got a nice little team stamp on this one. I just picked it up a couple weeks ago. It's a pretty overstable MD3, and I can definitely trust it in the wind and if I want shots to finish to the left. I'm currently bagging 2 MDs. I've got 2 different versions this year. Still throwing my favorite, which is the Swirly S-Line. I've got a number of these that are in and out of the bag, but it's domey. It's very straight flying. Can manipulate this disc however you want. Throw it on a hyzer, it'll fly on a hyzer. Put it on a turn, it turns. I also added the Luster MD, which is a very straight MD. This one's nice and broken in, so I get throwing it backhand, I get some nice right breaking turns with this disc. And when the wind is up, and when I need to throw a backhand shot that finishes left or a forehand chip shot that finishes right, I'm going for the MD5. This is the Metal Flake version. It's arguably the most overstable version of the, I think, 3 or 4 plastics that we have right now, but very trustworthy disc. It's got a nice bead, easy to throw forehand, backhand chip shots that need to go in that direction. The DD3. I'm excited about this one. This is the latest distance driver from Discmania. It's very fast, 12.5, -1, 3. I'm currently throwing 3 different versions. This particular one is prototype Cloudbreaker, which is a swirl DD3. It's got some good stability. I can trust on it in a headwind, and it'll still finish to the left. I like to throw this for sidearms as well. And the most recent version that came out is the stock S-Line DD3. And I've got 2 of these that I'm messing around with. They're pretty similar in flight to the Cloudbreaker, maybe just a touch more overstable. Still learning these, but they're immediate adds to the bag. I've got one S-Line CD3. This was actually my distance driver last year, one of my distance drivers, but it's nice and broken in, so I can throw it on some hyzer flips. It'll pop up, turn, and go a long way. I like to use it for tailwind shots. Admittedly, I'm using it less and less with the DD3, and then also there's a lot of overlap with the CD2, but if I'm out in the field and need to throw a distance shot that finishes to the right, this is it, just because the Cloudbreaker or DD3 isn't broken in enough yet. I've got two CD2s in the bag right now, both S-Lines. This particular one is a first run S-Line. Plastic's a little bit stiffer. There's a slight dome to it, but this is one of my favorite discs to throw, just because I can throw it on any angle. I can make it go straight, I can make it finish right, left, and go a long way on golf lines. So if I don't have a lot of room to work with but want to throw a long distance shot, this is the disc. While this one is a second run Swirly S-Line CD2, and it's a little more understable, so I can put it on some hyzer angles, it'll pop up and it will turn. What would my bag be without a PD2? I've got this Swirly S-Line PD2 from Illinois State Doubles Championships. Shout out to Kale for the artwork. But it's beefy, it's overstable. If I need the shot to finish left and I'm throwing backhand, this is what I'm grabbing for. It fights winds really well. Much more high speed stability than the DD3, so that's when I'm pulling out the PD2. I've got one FD3 in the bag this year. Right now it's a C-Line version. It's pretty flat, it's overstable. It's actually been in and out of my bag for the last 4 years, and this is an early C-Line run of that. Really good grippy plastic, but I'm using it for sidearms, backhands when the winds are up and it's too much for some of my other fairway drivers. Speaking of fairway drivers, this is one I'm really excited about. It's the Evolution Instinct. This is the first release in Discmania's Evolution line, made in collaboration with Latitude 64. But this is a fairway driver, mild dome, 7502 are the flight numbers, but this is a great fairway driver, easy to throw, lots of forward carrying distance. So I'm throwing this flat, and it's gonna fly pretty straight, and then with a nice finish left. I can throw it on some big sweeping hyzers because it wants to stay in the air when it's flying. Really great disc. I'm getting this one broken in, so I imagine soon I'll be able to hyzer flip it to flat, but right now, if I'm throwing it on a hyzer, it's mostly staying on that hyzer line. This disc has been in the bag for many years. It's a C-Line PD, but it's kind of a mix between the S and C-Line. It's got the nice Panda stamp on it. It's a little bit lighter, 172 grams, but this is one I'm grabbing when it's a little too windy for the Instinct, or I really want to rip on it. I can get good distance with the PD, but this is a great all-around disc, and it's one that is always in the bag. I've one S-Line TDX. This is a very flat version of the TDX. It's only 166 grams. It's understable. I like to throw this for rollers, whether it's forehand rollers or backhand rollers or quick hyzer flip shots that need to pop up and turn and go right. I've also got a few backup discs and discs that I'm testing. This particular one is the new Royal Rage FD2. It's the 3-tooled version, so it's our third try, but this one came out great. It's very flat. I like it for both backhand and sidearms. Sidearm, it pops up nicely. Backhand, I can rip it on a hyzer flip and it flies dead straight. But this is in and out of the bag. Depending on the course, I've got a Swirly PD. This has got some more stability than my other PD, but I can throw it backhand, forehand. Again, this is a backup disc. Here's one that I'm testing. It's a newer run of the FD3. It's got a little bit of dome, but the plastic is really grippy. It's got a nice shine to it, but this one's not as overstable. So I like it for sidearms that kind of pop up versus using the other FD3 that will dive to the ground. And of course, I've got a Roaming Thunder, depending on the course, in and out of the bag. It's Swirly CD2, signature disc from last year. Thank you to everyone who picked one up. Keep an eye out for the Roaming Thunder 2 coming this summer. Thank you all for watching my In the Bag. If you couldn't tell, we're out here at Dellwood Park, the Canyons. It's in Lockport, Illinois. If you haven't played it, it's a destination course. You should definitely check it out. It's a pro shop on site. So I want to thank Dellwood Disc Golf for their support. I've also got some other great sponsors like Ledgestone Insurance. If you need insurance and you're in the Midwest area, reach out to Nate Heinold. Miles at Paragon. I can't say enough about Miles. He prints all of my gear. He prints for everybody. He'll print on anything. So make sure you hit up Paragon for all your printing needs. And of course, Discmania. They do a lot for me, including the Roaming Thunder, which is coming out this summer. Keep an eye out for that. Head over to discmania.net, go to the Academy. If you want to learn how to play disc golf, I write a lot of articles on there, so please be sure to check that out. And thank you everyone for the support. I really appreciate it.